Instagram just released a massive algorithm update that completely changes how long you should be making your content, what type of features you should be using, and a few other things I'm going to share with you towards the end of this video. And if you don't adapt to these changes, it's harder than ever before right now to grow on Instagram. But if you simply make these changes, I promise you'll spend less time creating content for Instagram and you'll get more views and more followers than you could have ever imagined. The same way I just helped this creator gain over 600,000 followers, and this creator over 1.1 million followers. All they did was implement the changes I'm about to share with you. Change number one is that trial reels are now more important than ever before. In order to upload trial reels, you need to make sure that you have 1,000 followers on Instagram, and you need to make sure that your page is public. If you then begin to upload trial reels, and by the way, you could upload several of them every single day, these reels are only going to get shown to non-followers. And then what ends up happening as a result is it skyrockets the amount of followers you end up getting on Instagram. Because one problem that you might be running into right now, and you could check this pretty quickly, if you go into the analytics on your most recent posts, you might be getting less than 90% of your views from people that don't follow you. And if this is happening to you, it's why you're not getting more reach and why you're not getting new followers. Because essentially what's happening is Instagram has identified the only people that are interested in your content are people that already follow you. And an easy way for you to be able to get out of this is implementing a trial reel strategy. So with trial reels, I would recommend that you do three things. The first thing you're going to want to do is take all of your posts that have done well before in the past, or at the very least have done above average, and you want to repost them as trial reels. Secondly, you want to use trial reels to experiment with new types of posts. And third, you want to use trial reels in order to take multiple stabs at whatever kind of content you're currently creating for Instagram. Because if you're like most small creators, you're probably making the mistake of only making one video for each topic. But instead, you should really be taking 2 or 3 stabs at actually making a video, in specific, the hook of your video. Because the hook of the video, the first 3 seconds, it's actually going to determine whether or not somebody watches. So why would you take the risk of only making one hook for each piece of content you create when you can make 3 different hooks, put it on the beginning of that content, and then have the rest of the content be the same, and you can actually upload it multiple times. 1 regular video, and then 2 trial reels, and this is going to skyrocket the amount of non-followers that get shown your content, which is 1, going to increase the reach that you get, and 2, increase the odds that people don't know who you are actually find out about who you are. Now this brings me to change number 2, which is that 50% of your content should be reposts on Instagram. And that might be a repost of somebody else's content, or it might be a repost of one of your own pieces of content. Let me explain. So if we look at Nick right here, who recently skyrocketed his growth on Instagram, if we come down into his reels, what are you going to notice? This post is a meme. This post is a meme. This one is a meme. In fact, almost every single other post that he posts is a meme, and in fact, he didn't create these posts. He's reposting them from somebody else's page, doing one of 2 methods. Either 1, he's downloading the post, changing a little bit about it, and then reposting it. Or 2, he's downloading the meme, changing the text on it, and making it for his niche, and then he's posting it. Or he might be doing a remix meme. Now, in addition to that, he is reposting content all the time. For example, look at this video right here, over 100,000 views. What did he do here? Almost the same video. And the reason that he did this is because this actually increases your reach on Instagram. You have to understand something. If you're doing Instagram right, the far majority of people that see your content don't know who you are. That's kind of what I touched on in step number 1. So it actually gives you more grace to upload the same video or the same types of videos multiple times. In addition to that, it decreases the amount of effort that you have to put in to creating new content, because you're not going to feel rushed every single day. You have to come up with something new when 50% of your posts are just curated posts, reposted from somewhere else, remixed with Instagram's features, or they're literally just one of your old posts that have done well that you're going to post again. But I do want to warn you, if you are going to implement this reposting strategy, please make sure you do not have a watermark on your content. Because if you have a watermark on your content, Instagram isn't going to push it out, and they might mark your account as spam. Now, change number 3 is you need to make sure that you begin creating content that is part of a series. And no, I'm not talking about literally just doing part 1, part 2, part 3. I'm talking about doing something else. But before I actually share that with you, I wanted to make sure that you're writing the right descriptions on Instagram and using the right hashtags, because those things also matter more than ever before. In fact, they're called metadata on Instagram. And if you do them incorrectly, Instagram's going to show your content to the wrong people. And this could be one of the reasons you're stuck with low views right now. But lucky for you, today's video is sponsor metrical makes it incredibly easy to guarantee you're using the right hashtags and the right description, because they have a brand new AI description generator that you literally just tell it exactly how you want to make your description and it will spit it out perfectly optimized for Instagram. And they also have a hashtag tool that if you click on it and enter the topic of your video, it is literally going to show you the best hashtags that you can use for that post. And if you go to the pinned comment below right now, you can get 30 days free access to any of their premium plans with code Robert. On top of that, they also allow you to schedule out your posts on Instagram so you can spend less time scheduling out posts and posting posts and instead enjoy your life because you know that your posts are already scheduled out. On top of that, they're one of the only apps that actually doesn't decrease your reach for doing this. In fact, there are so many different apps out there that schedule content out, but they secretly decrease your reach, but Metricool is not one of them. In fact, it could actually help increase your reach. So what are you waiting for? Go to that pinned comment below and get 30 days free access to any of Metricool's premium plans with code Robert. Okay, now if we look at Tuvok right here, this is a perfect example of what I mean when I tell you you need to create a series with your content. If we look at his content, you will see that in this video, he is creating content with a basketball. In this video, he is creating content with what I believe is a rugby ball. If we come over here, we'll see again, he's doing it with a soccer ball. Now, if you go through all of his content, you will note that again, he's doing it with a basketball. And if we come down here, again, he is doing it with other items. Like this one right here, he does it with a football. So what you'll notice is that what he is constantly doing is creating content that's part of a series. Because if you look at his videos, he gets a lot of views every single time that he posts. But the reason he gets a lot of views is because Instagram doesn't have to relearn his content every single time he goes to upload something. And that's why his views are consistently very viral, because they can see, oh, this is part of the series where he's throwing basketballs at people and then they have to shoot the ball, or throwing a football at somebody and then they have to throw it back, or throwing a soccer ball and they have to kick it and hit a bottle or hit the inside of a net. And you need to make sure that Instagram knows the same thing about your content. Now, of course, I'm sure you're not making public content like this where you're going through and actually doing this. But what you could do is be creating multiple videos about the same topic, or creating multiple videos in the same format. And what this is going to do is train the Instagram algorithm to actually push your content out, as opposed to trying to relearn what your account's about every single time that you post. Now, change number 4 is that you need to make sure that you update how you're doing your stories on Instagram, because stories are getting more views than ever before right now, so long as you're doing 3 things right. The first thing you need to make sure that you're doing is increasing the amount of interactions that you get on your stories. And the most powerful interaction you could possibly get is not somebody interacting with the link on the story. It's not somebody liking your story. Instead, it's somebody swiping up and leaving a comment on your story. This is one of the most powerful things that you could do, and I would strongly recommend that you begin to do it. Secondly, if your story views ever drop, you need to take 24 hours off of posting on your story. This is going to reset the stories algorithm, and it's going to increase the odds that Instagram actually pushes your stories out. And then third, you need to make sure that you're being very strategic about when you're actually posting your stories and what you're putting in your stories. Because one major mistake that I see so many small channels make, and quite frankly, big accounts also, is that they post all of their stories at once. What this does is gets a good boost in views, but then that dies off throughout the rest of the day. So instead, what you should be doing is trying to post on your stories every hour, every 2 hours, every 3 hours, but essentially you want to be consistent, because the more that you post on your story, the higher the odds your story is going to be placed at number 1, number 2, or number 3 when somebody logs on to Instagram, and those are the stories that they actually end up watching. Think about it. Somebody might scroll on the Reels feed for a long time, but they're not scrolling through every single story, especially if they follow hundreds of people or even thousands of people. And then that final thing that you really need to make sure that you're doing is you need to make sure that you're creating your content shorter than you ever have before, because Instagram is really pushing out short content right now. In fact, you need to be in one of 2 areas. Either one, you need content that's long, over 45 seconds long, but that gets a lot of watch time, or your content needs to be short. And to be quite frank with you, I think making shorter content is the easier way to go on Instagram, because it allows you to spend less time creating content. less time editing content. You have to be less creative with it, and it gets more people to complete your videos with 100% watch time and to end up sharing your content. It doesn't matter if you're making entertaining content or educational content. What you should be aiming to do is to decrease the time that it takes for somebody to actually get to the main point. So here's what I want you to be asking yourself the next time you go to post something on Instagram. Could I make this post easier? Could I make this post more efficient? And how could I get the same point across way quicker? In fact, I want to give you a few examples of how other creators are doing an awesome job with this. For example, if we look at Marketing Harry right here, what we're going to see is a lot of his content are just like fill in the blank content like this, where it happens really quickly and he's able to get a lot of views. Or even stuff like this, where he covers stuff up with one of these post-it notes, and again, it's able to get him a lot of views. And Meredith does something very similar. If we look at her content, all she has is a hook right here, and then she goes straight to visual. And you know, you're gonna get through part 1, and then this part 2, and that's why your content is doing so well. And you need to make sure that you begin implementing stuff like this into your content, because it's going to skyrocket your reach. Another really great example of this is if we come over to Cortisol Coach right here, Christine, and we come into her content, she gets a lot of views every single time that she posts, and all she does is goes through, she puts a hook, puts some facts here, and then expands on it in her caption, and this skyrockets not only the views that she gets, the followers she gains, the reach she gets, and the amount of money that she's currently making from Instagram. And if you look at her page, you'll see these posts don't take very long to make, but she's getting 1 million views, 300,000 views, almost 400,000 views. And this is happening constantly, and these posts aren't actually that much effort to create. And if you want to grow faster on Instagram right now, the same exact way that I help this creator grow and this creator grow, well, I want to work with you one-on-one to guarantee I can help you grow faster on Instagram too, by me telling you literally everything you need to do. What content to make, how to edit your content differently, what time to post, what hashtags to use, and so much more. If that sounds interesting, well, please check out this video right here that walks you through the 3 different ways we can work together so I can guarantee you grow quicker on Instagram. I'll see you over there.